If you have spent any time in personality psychology, you have probably had this feeling that there is a bigger picture just out of reach. Welcome to the Personality Atlas miniseries. Today, we're sharing how we built a computational atlas to unify the world of personality models. You sense that different models, like the Big Five or MMPI, belong together, but there's no single place to compare them all. Each model illuminates a piece of the puzzle, whether it's the Big Five's broad traits, the MMPI's clinical depth, or the Dark Triad's specific focus. That is the problem this project solves. We built a single computational space where any trait from any tradition can be searched, compared, and classified. Now let's dive into the history and technical construction of the Personality Atlas. The survey repository, everything needed to reproduce the atlas. No API key required. 44 CSVs, one per personality model. Factor, adjective, synonym, verb, and noun label for every trait. 44 pre-computed embedding files. 1,536 dimensional vectors, one row per trait. 88 files. One trained random forest and one label encoder per model. Pre-computed assets for all three experiments. 5,052 GPT-4o test items. 368 human-authored items. 222 DSM-5 disorder embeddings. No API calls needed. 2 Colab notebooks. Quick Start covers all 12 research questions. Deep Dive takes one model apart end to end. Clone the repo. Run the notebooks. Get the paper's results. This project started with a simple question. How many personality models exist? We dug and found 6, then 12, then 22, and eventually capped the atlas at 44 models across 7 categories. The early challenge was normalization. We standardized a 5-column pattern for every model to ensure consistency for cross-model comparison. Once the 44 datasets existed, we passed every trait through an OpenAI embedding model, turning text into points in a 1,536-dimensional space. Then, we trained classification models and built a search index to retrieve related traits instantly. Let's walk through the main folders in the repository structure. The Atlas folder holds the core data. Every model has a model card documenting its theoretical basis, factor structure, and performance metrics. Navigate to the Ocean folder, also known as the Big Five factor model. 5 dimensions validated across cultures since the 1960s. Openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. 120 traits, 5 factors. Novel item accuracy, 76.1%. Best in the trait-based category. The 3072 DIM upgrade pushes that to 84.5%. LLM judges agreed 100% of the time, with a mean confidence of 4.9 out of 5. Ocean is the benchmark. 5 semantically distinct factors that separate cleanly and generalize well. The results folder holds all the outputs from the Atlas experiments, PCA, visualizations, model similarity matrices, and the full validation data. The README at the top level explains every file and figure. Inside the validation subfolder, you'll find 5 key files. Atlas_summary.json has the top-line numbers across all 44 models. Category_results.csv breaks accuracy down by the 7 model categories. Baselines.json shows the random and frequency baselines each model is compared against. Latency.json has runtime benchmarks, FAISS retrieval under 1 millisecond, all 44 models predicted in about 22 seconds. And experiment2_comparison.csv is the side-by-side accuracy comparison between 1536 and 3072 dimensional embeddings. Everything here is pre-computed and ships with the repo, so you can reproduce any result without an API key. The repository includes scripts for cross-model PCA analysis, proving that these 44 models are not just measuring the same few dimensions. The variance is genuinely high-dimensional. We stack all 6,694 trait embeddings into one matrix and run PCA. We've never told the embedding model which traits belong to which tradition. These relationships have to fall out of the geometry. The SCID plot shows variance explained across 50 principal components. The cumulative variance climbs slowly across all 50. The traits genuinely spread across many independent semantic dimensions. Personality constructs that evolved independently over a century don't compress into a handful of directions. We ran 3 major experiments to validate the computational atlas. Experiment 1. Discriminant validity. We tested whether the atlas's classifiers generalize to novel items they've never seen. GPT-4o generated 5,052 items from factor definitions alone, no access to the training data. RQ1. Novel item accuracy? 58.7% mean across 44 models, down from 98% on training data. That gap is the generalization penalty. RQ2. Does complexity predict difficulty? Yes. R equals -0.67. 2 to 4 factor models average 71.2%. 10 plus factor models average 37.1%. RQ3. Do LLM judges agree? GPT-4o, Claude Sonnet, and Gemini agreed 98.8% of the time. The items have clear factor membership. RQ4. Where do classifiers fail? RF judge agreement. 65.4% versus 71.1% judge validity, a 5.7-point gap, where the embedding can't resolve boundaries the judges see clearly. RQ5. Do independent models converge? Yes. Face queries show Ocean, HEXACO, and MBTI extroversion clustering without any explicit alignment. Dark triad Machiavellianism retrieves MMPI psychopathic deviate across tradition boundaries. RQ6. Do the 7 categories differ? Yes. Motivational leads at 74.5%. Interpersonal trails at 23.7%, driven by disks. 29 factor structure. The taxonomy predicts where the atlas works and where it struggles. Experiment 2. Improvement strategies. Experiment 1 established the baseline. Experiment 2 asks, can we do better? 3 strategies tested. RQ7. Does upgrading to 3072 DIM embeddings help? On training data. Plus 1.2 pp, negligible. Both sizes hit the accuracy ceiling. On novel items. Plus 5.0 pp, 58.7% right pointing arrow, 63.7%, with 28 of 44 models improving. The extra resolution matters where generalization is tested. RQ8. Does data augmentation help the weakest models? For the 14 models below 50% accuracy, augmenting training data with paraphrased boundary case items improved classification. Gives the classifier more examples of the hard distinctions near factor boundaries. RQ9. Does hierarchical classification help nested models? For 8 models with nested factor structures, predicting a course category first, then the specific factor reduced error. Avoids the cost of distinguishing across all factors simultaneously. No single strategy dominates. The right fix depends on why a model struggles. Combined, the majority of the 44 models improved by at least one strategy. Experiment 3 used items written by human psychologists for external validation. Accuracy hit nearly 70%, and the search index successfully retrieved related constructs from their correct categories 100% of the time. The Personality Atlas is a major step forward for the field. Personality psychology has built incredible models in silos. The Atlas now provides the shared coordinate system to finally bridge them. Every one of these 44 models exists because someone wanted to understand people better. The Atlas makes it possible for all of those efforts to finally find each other. In our next video, we will open the notebook and explore all 44 models live in one space. Until then, you can clone the repository and run the demo yourself.